This story follows Oliver, an indie film director who stumbles upon a disturbing video online and begins to suspect the person in it is someone he once knew very well. Having not seen her for years, he's strangely captivated, and curiosity gets the best of him, prompting him to travel all the way to Colombia to find out exactly what drove her to upload that video. Spoiler alert, his intentions might not be as noble as he claims. At this point, Oliver and his girlfriend Karen are already on their way to shoot a documentary. While Karen is asleep or bored to tears by Oliver's pretentious filmmaking, Oliver interviews his friend about his upcoming film. His friend concludes that Oliver's movie is essentially about the loss of innocence, probably tied to his childhood. Of course, Oliver denies this, because denial always makes things better, right? In the middle of the interview, Karen wakes up and interrupts with some trivial complaint because, priorities. Shortly afterward, the couple checks into a hotel. Karen heads for a shower, leaving Oliver alone. Like any dude with spare time and a lack of impulse control, left alone with too much time and too little judgment, Oliver stumbles into a corner of the internet that leads him somewhere deeply uncomfortable. Then, in the middle of all that late-night scrolling, something stops him cold. A face in one of the videos looks oddly familiar. It's not clear enough to confirm anything, but it's enough to plant a very bad thought in his head. Could this girl actually be someone he knows personally? A few awkward minutes later, Oliver reunites with Karen. He tries to act normal, but it's obvious his head is somewhere else. Oliver's curiosity gets the better of him, and after a few days, he decides to head back to his hometown alone. After packing his stuff from the accommodation, he visits a local cafe. Fate, as twisted as ever, intervenes, and Oliver accidentally runs into Aurora, his stepsister, who's hanging out with a friend. Everyone around seems a bit startled when Oliver practically leaps into Aurora's arms, embracing her warmly. Awkward family reunions at their finest. Aurora introduces Oliver to her best friend Natalie. Clearly, Oliver and Aurora are way beyond your typical sibling relationship. If anything, something about their reunion feels off, even if no one says it out loud. But Aurora, innocent and oblivious as ever, doesn't read into it. After all, they're family, right? Aurora then invites Oliver back to her place. On the way, they catch up, reminiscing about their nostalgic childhood memories. Yet upon arrival, Oliver oddly refuses to enter the house. Before leaving, Aurora kindly hands Oliver her car keys, because lending your ride to the brother you haven't seen in years makes total sense apparently. It's becoming clear Oliver's relationship with Karen is falling apart. When she calls, he brushes her off casually. Ouch. Meanwhile, Aurora and Oliver are getting closer, hanging out frequently. Aurora even offers to cut Oliver's hair. Nothing says innocent bonding like letting your stepsister wield sharp objects near your head, huh? Aurora reveals she'll soon head to college in Colombia and casually mentions her close friendship with a guy named Carlos. Of course, Aurora clarifies that Carlos is merely a friend. Ouch. Friend-zoned hard, buddy. Soon after, Aurora's stepmom, Julia, calls her inside.
Ya voy!
Aurora lives with Julia, who graciously invites Oliver to join them for lunch. Julia makes polite small talk, asking how long Oliver plans to stay, but Oliver hasn't figured that out yet. It soon becomes obvious Julia isn't thrilled with Oliver hanging around, especially when he borrows Aurora's car. Clearly, the warm welcome has its limits. The next day, Aurora receives a large, mysterious package. Upon opening it, she finds a CCTV monitor screen displaying a live feed of her own room. Someone's been spying on her every move, every single move. And who's the creep behind this creepy Big Brother stunt? None other than her beloved stepbrother, Oliver. Yeah, Oliver. I know, shocking, right? Turns out, when Aurora was called downstairs by her mother a few days earlier, Oliver secretly planted a hidden camera in her room. Seriously, Oliver, stalker much? Through this hidden camera, he starts watching her routine from a distance, crossing a line that should never have been crossed. Studying, working on assignments, sleeping, and oh yeah, until one day, her crush Carlos shows up in her room. Aurora's lying on the floor, casually reading a book, while Carlos just sits there, staring. Then slowly, Carlos misreads the situation. Real classy, right? Straight up prison vibes. But unfortunately for him, and Aurora shuts it down almost immediately. That night, Aurora heads to a party. When her best friend doesn't show up, she immediately loses interest. Oliver conveniently calls, saying he's at another party nearby and invites her over. Aurora initially declines out of loyalty to her missing friend, but after Carlos tries pulling some overly aggressive moves, Aurora's had enough. She ditches Carlos and heads to Oliver's party. And this isn't just any party. The place is chaotic, loud, and completely out of control. Everyone around them seems to be making worse decisions by the minute, and Oliver keeps pulling Aurora deeper into the night. Before long, they're drinking, dancing, and getting swept up in the atmosphere. Then Oliver pushes things even further, and Aurora makes a choice she's going to regret. And yep, Aurora dives headfirst into trouble. From there, things start slipping fast. The shift is immediate. The music feels louder, the energy gets heavier, and whatever boundaries we're still holding begin to fall apart. And suddenly, everything between them changes in a way that should never have happened. After the party, Oliver goes right back to spying on Aurora through the hidden camera. He sees her stumbling around her room, clearly disoriented and not in a good state. Instead of backing off, Oliver does what he always does and keeps watching. Then, as if that weren't strange enough already, he calls her for a pointless conversation. The next morning, Oliver's showering when Aurora unexpectedly visits. She's distressed, having just argued with Carlos, and asks Oliver for some company. He tells her to wait a bit while he gets ready. But Aurora, bored and curious, starts looking around and stumbles upon a handy cam lying around Oliver's place. Finding a nearby memory card, she loads it and watches. To her shock, she finds an experimental recording that raises more questions than answers. Yikes. Shortly after the awkward discovery, Aurora and Oliver head out to a cafe. Aurora, still annoyed by Carlos's clinginess, vents her frustrations to Oliver because Oliver, the guy secretly filming her bedroom, is clearly an ideal confidant. Then, in classic Aurora fashion, she casually asks, "By the way, who was in that video?" Smooth segue, Aurora, subtle as a sledgehammer. Oliver casually admits the girl was Karen, his girlfriend, claiming it was purely an artistic film experiment. Sure, Oliver, purely artistic. Just like browsing those adult sites was for research purposes. Surprisingly, Aurora admits her ex did something similar. She reveals that her past is more complicated than Oliver first assumed. Feeling oddly emboldened by their strange sense of connection, Oliver makes the worst decision possible. He takes Aurora back to his place and shows her the footage he secretly recorded from her room. Wow, Oliver. Aurora reacts exactly the way anyone would. She loses it, furious and completely disgusted by what he's done. Oliver, of course, doesn't handle that well. Instead of owning it, he gets defensive and throws the handycam incident back at her, as if stumbling across a personal video is somehow the same as secretly watching someone's bedroom around the clock. The next day, Aurora relaxes poolside with Natalie. Natalie can tell something's off right away. Aurora looks distracted, tense, and clearly not herself. Playing the role of concerned best friend, Natalie starts asking about the party and the latest mess with Carlos. Aurora makes it clear she has no interest in him. Natalie doesn't buy the bigger denial either, and soon enough she starts questioning Aurora's growing closeness with Oliver. Caught off guard, Aurora quickly brushes it off, insisting he's just family and that nothing inappropriate is happening. By now, though, even that excuse is starting to sound paper thin. Later that night, Oliver returns to the hidden camera, watching Aurora yet again. But this time, Aurora seems to know exactly what's happening. She picks up her phone, makes a call, and minutes later, Carlos enters the room. It quickly becomes obvious that Aurora is making a point. She knows Oliver is watching, and she turns that knowledge into a weapon. What follows is a deliberate act of retaliation, meant to hurt him from a distance. Oliver can do nothing but sit there and watch it unfold. Jealous, humiliated, and finally stripped of control, he's forced to feel a fraction of the damage he's been causing all along. Oliver finally snaps under the weight of his own jealousy and storms out, rattled by what he's just witnessed. The next day, he replays the footage again, almost as if he can't help punishing himself. But while watching Aurora more closely, something suddenly clicks. The disturbing video he found online at the start was connected to her all along. Bit by bit, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Aurora's ex had secretly recorded something private and put it online, and that discovery is what set this entire spiral in motion. A few days later, Aurora and her friends head out for a picnic in the forest. The atmosphere is already tense, especially since things between Aurora and Oliver are still far from resolved. When Aurora steps away into the woods for a moment alone, Oliver follows her. Alone among the trees, he pushes the situation far past where it should ever go. Aurora resists at first, but Oliver, consumed by jealousy, accuses her of using Carlos to get back at him. In his mind, somehow, this is all about him. Then, against all better judgment, the moment spirals again. And just like that, whatever fragile boundary was left between them collapses even further, turning the woods into the setting for yet another disaster neither of them can take back. But right in the middle of this very poorly thought out forest detour, guess who decides to crash the party? Yep, Carlos shows up just in time to witness exactly the kind of scene he never wanted to see. Talk about awkward timing. Sorry, Carlos. Guess it just wasn't your lucky day. Aurora and Oliver continue their questionable journey from the forest to the car, well into the night. I mean, the night air apparently had a lot to say. But seriously, get a room. Oh wait, they had a car. Close enough. When Aurora gets home, her mom greets her warmly. And by warmly, I mean Julia's welcome home came with sound effects. Aurora gets the message instantly. Turns out Carlos wasted no time reporting every last detail to Aurora's mom, Julia. Furious, Julia drags Aurora to her room and locks her in, giving new meaning to grounded for life. Meanwhile, Oliver, blissfully unaware of his imminent punishment, returns home. But waiting in the shadows, wielding a baseball bat, is none other than Carlos, who's clearly been binge-watching mafia movies. He sneaks up behind Oliver and ouch. That's gonna leave a mark. After this explosive revelation, Julia decides Aurora needs professional help and calls in a psychiatrist. Because obviously, therapy fixes everything, especially secret sibling affairs. The shrink tries reasoning with Aurora, pointing out the seriousness of her choices. But Aurora, stubborn as ever, doesn't really care. She's too busy dealing with the rumors swirling at school, making her life miserable. High school drama mixed with forbidden relationships, truly groundbreaking stuff here. Oliver tries desperately to contact Aurora, but Julia confiscates her phone and tells him to stay far, far away. Clearly, the family's had enough of Oliver's special brand of family bonding.
Soy mayor de edad. No me puedes.
Later, the psychiatrist revisits Aurora with more uncomfortable questions, asking, "How's Oliver's relationship with your parents?" Aurora reveals that Oliver has always had a terrible relationship with their parents, shocking absolutely no one. When asked about her feelings for Oliver, Aurora admits she genuinely feels comfortable with him, comfortably disturbed, maybe. But deep down, she's resigned to the possibility Oliver may already be gone for good, as she hasn't heard from him in a while. "Oh, Aurora, trust me, you might be better off if he's vanished forever." Seeing that Aurora seems calmer, Julia tries a gentle approach, taking her daughter out for a drive to talk things through. But peace never lasts long in this family drama. Aurora's phone rings. Julia immediately grabs it and sees Oliver's name pop up. Talk about bad timing. Julia instantly goes from zero to furious, blood pressure hitting new records. Aurora, already on the brink, decides she can't take it anymore. So naturally, she opens the car door while the car's still moving and bolts. Because nothing screams rational decision-making like leaping from a moving vehicle. Initially, Aurora believes Oliver has left town, but lo and behold, Oliver finally shows up again, like a bad rash that refuses to fade. Aurora immediately confronts him, pouring out her conflicted feelings, insisting she can't live without him. She's also furious at Oliver for ignoring her calls the other night. Oliver's defense? He was busy at the bar, apparently seeking life advice from a glass of something strong. Classic Oliver, when in doubt, outsource your problems to the drinks menu. He apologizes to Aurora, as if saying, sorry could possibly fix this epic train wreck. Just as Oliver and Aurora are sorting through their tangled mess of emotions, Aurora hears a suspicious noise coming from Oliver's bedroom. Suspenseful music cue, please. Aurora rushes over, opens the door, and surprise, surprise,
Natalia.
there's Natalie, her best friend, trusted confidant, practically her sister, in Oliver's room, in Oliver's bed, in a situation that left absolutely zero room for innocent interpretation. Some things you just can't unsee. Aurora certainly couldn't. Talk about going from bestie to backstabber in record time. An explosive fight breaks out. Aurora is devastated, unable to believe Natalie's betrayal. Natalie, however, doubles down, calling Aurora cheap. Wow, Natalie, real classy move. Clearly, loyalty died a violent death in this friendship. Furious and heartbroken, Aurora tells Oliver she never wants to see him again, effectively kicking him out of her life. Good call, Aurora. Maybe a little late, but still, good call. Sometime later, Aurora grows suspicious that Oliver might still be watching. Because in this household, privacy was apparently just a suggestion. She glances at the CCTV slowly, deliberately, and picks up a pair of scissors. Then, in a shockingly dramatic move worthy of a soap opera finale, Aurora aims the scissors somewhere that made the camera irrelevant permanently. Seriously? Aurora, there's revenge, and then there's whatever this is. A few days later, Oliver receives a bizarre package. Curious and slightly terrified, he opens it to find a bunch of carefully clipped hairs. Confused? So was Oliver. He tosses them away, disgusted and puzzled. Only later does it click those weren't just any hairs. Aurora had sent Oliver a very personal souvenir, the kind that makes you question every life decision that led you to that moment. Oliver's face said it all, and honestly, same. Oliver frantically washes his hands, both literally and metaphorically, of the mess he's created. Too late, buddy. We cut to one final scene. Aurora sits alone in her room, quietly watching Cannibal Holocaust. On screen, an infamous scene known for its brutality and disturbing imagery. It's uncomfortable, difficult to sit through. And Aurora, she remains completely still, expression blank, slowly chewing on a marshmallow. No reaction, no hesitation, just chewing. Because after everything she's been through, betrayal, manipulation, and having her privacy violated by the very people meant to protect her, shock doesn't reach her the same way anymore. She's been emotionally consumed so many times that even something deeply disturbing on screen barely registers. Just another night, just another story. And there you have it, folks, the delightfully disturbing saga of Sister of Mine. Honestly, what a wholesome family story, right? Just the kind of heartwarming tale you'd watch with grandma on a cozy Sunday afternoon, assuming your grandma's completely lost her moral compass, of course. But hey, jokes aside, what's the real takeaway here? Maybe it's that stalking someone you live with, installing hidden cameras, and spiraling into chemically assisted family chaos is a bad idea? Shocker, I know. Or perhaps it's simply that some boundaries exist for a reason, like traffic lights or expiration dates. You cross them at your peril. But seriously, if there's one thing we can learn from Oliver's disastrous life choices, it's this. Sometimes curiosity doesn't just kill the cat, it completely nukes your life. So now it's your turn. Let me know down below. If you were Oliver, at what point would you have said, hey, maybe I'm the problem here? Would you ever forgive a betrayal like Natalie's? And seriously, does Aurora get a pass? Or is everyone equally messed up? And as always, smash that like button if you enjoyed spiraling into chaos with me. Subscribe for more cinematic disasters and questionable life advice from yours truly. On a personal note, because why not overshare with strangers on the internet, I sometimes wonder if our obsession with chaos on screen isn't just a distraction from our own painfully mundane lives. Are we really searching for excitement? Or are we just avoiding the uncomfortable truths waiting quietly at home? But hey, who am I to judge? I'm just a guy sitting alone with his cat, questioning life choices at 3 a.m. Welcome to adulthood, folks. Enjoy the ride. See you in the next one, assuming we all survive our questionable decisions till then. Peace out, Max.